The Mystery of BELICENA VILLCA. Fourth Book. Quest for Uncle Kurt. Chapter 20. "Well, Nif," said Uncle Kurt after the dinner, with his eyes strangely bright, "we're getting near to the most important part of my life, when I received the initiation, and such unusual mission was entrusted to me, that operation that Tarstein valorized too much and that still results incomprehensible to me. In the time, with Tarstein as instructor, I learned a lot. He seemed to know it all, and I used to feel ashamed, because, after many years in the Nepala, I was just capable to follow him attentively in his expositions, but I felt incompetent to complete anything he said by my own. Nevertheless, Tarstein consoled me at his paradoxical way. 'Don't worry, Kurt, it is just confusion, blood impurity. But, you go faster than you think. You'll know it all soon, you'll wake up, and, then, if you want, you could dominate so much science as the greatest wise man. Of course, that, our Hyperborean science, is a damn science in this satanic world. But, must not worry you, because, the Siddhain really won and has no more necessity than himself. For the Hyperborean wisdom, there are three kinds of men. The Pes, which was conceived by the Demirish creator of the matter, Jehovah Satan, and that only under some reserves can be considered a man, being more properly to call him animal man. There's also that Virya, which is basically a Pes of Hyperborean lineage, that is to say, a Pes, who has mixed his blood with an immortal Siddha, mystery that you will understand, on the course of your instruction. The Viryas are in major or lesser measure, strayed or lost, by the confusion of the blood, and just the remembrance contained in the blood, could purify them. To that, aims the strategy at the Fura. To that, and to put end to the Kali Yuga or Dark Age. You must have present that, a Pes could never reach to be a semi-divine Virya, but that a Virya can descend completely to the level of the Pes, by a definitive confusion of the blood. And finally, are the loyal Siddhas, those who came with Christus Lucifer to the earth, millions of years ago, and belonged to a Hyperborean race, another mystery that you will understand with clarity later, because the terms Hyperborean and Tul have almost nothing in common to the legends of the antiquity. Then, they are Siddhas, Viryas and Pes, in the Hyperborean sense, that I have given to you, and not as it is vulgarly understood these terms in the Tibet, the three categories of men, with which you must be accustomed to reason onwards. Add to this an important concept. The Synarchy organizes and planifies the world, for the Pes, and lost Viryas. The Hyperborean wisdom teaches how the Virya must be purified to recover the Vril, and transmute into a semi-divine mortal, or immortal divine Hyperborean. I have to tell you something, Kurt, that must fill you with legitimate pride. Your parapsychological analysis to hear the voice of Kiev, even when you have not followed the guidelines of the Hyperborean wisdom, to conquest such charisma, had guided you to the correct conclusion. I am saying that your affirmation that it is necessary to dispose the spirit to remember, as the best attitude before the danger to rationalize the psychic phenomenon, formulating an equivalent interrogation, coincides strictly with our philosophy. Is disposing the spirit to remember, as it is acceded to the remembrance of the blood. And this previous step, inevitable to obtain the Hyperborean initiation, you have did it alone, feat, as I said, of which you must be proud. By these last words, could be thought that Tarstein, versed in matters of occultism, was a dreamer person, and unworthy of credit in rigorous things, as usually happens. And nothing would be more erroneous than such appreciation, even if I never known someone who knew as him about occultism, hermetic philosophy or religions. This was just a part of his immense wisdom. In those 30 years, Germany, in full industrial deployment, was a giant in science. And Konrad Tarstein knew everything. He was an erudite of the German wisdom in all its details. He dominated the superior mathematics on its highest level, the chemistry, physics, the biology, the multiple industrial technologies, etc. Without talking about the humanistic field, where his dominion of the ancient and modern philosophies, the logic, the philology, the psychology, etc., was fearsome. How could be defined such a man? And the most difficult, how transmit his thought without deforming it? Effectively, if I would have not been capable to expose neither to you the Hyperborean wisdom, and if I can talk with you about it now, if thanks to those extraordinary initiates, BELICENA, VILLCA and Nimrod of Rosario. Remember that Escadfil affirmed that the Hyperborean wisdom of Nimrod of Rosario could be only compared to the one at Arstein. Thanks to them, Nif, I will be able to entrust you a part of my life which would be incomprehensible for any interlocutor who ignorant about the fundamentals of the Hyperborean wisdom. Then, I will be brief, because you understand perfectly what I'm saying. Conrad Tarstein instructed me profoundly in the Hyperborean wisdom, and one day, in an underground hall of the castle of Welsburg, I received the Hyperborean initiation. In the Hyperborean chamber, specially constructed for those ceremonies, a high initiate of the Black Order, I guess that, a pontiff, effectuated the ritual, before a public of just 8 initiates. There, I faced the death, with the caliber death of Pyrene, as BELICENA VILLCA would say. It means, with the archetype of the death that kills the warm life, and then, with the cold death caliber, the naked truth of oneself, which is found after the end of the warm life. And, at returning to the warm life, after my immersion in the infinite blackness of oneself, I realized that, the anguish of the death, had fled from me forever. The animal fear of dying, the instinct of conservation was definitely overcome by the wisdom of the eternal life. A will of steel took definitive possession of my spiritual nature, and I knew that nothing could stop me. It means, nothing that related with the death, the threat of the death. It was pure resolute will. I'd advance, wherever could be ordered me, and I repeat, nothing could stop me. It was then, when the objective of the mysterious mission was revealed to me, for which I had been prepared for many years. And once again, the one in charge of the revelation was Conrad Tarstein. It won't be difficult for you to understand in what consists the mission, Tarstein said me, when I will put you up with some facts that are happening. Tell me, Kurt, do you know from where come the forces that sustain the Synarchy to the Jewish world conspiracy? I am referring to the psychic forces, naturally, due to, the economic or politic forces, are just external expressions of them. Well, according to what I heard from the Führer, and just as you have explained it, such forces come from an occult center called Shambhala, where a hierarchy of infernal beings dwell, dedicated to impose the plan of Jehovah Satan on the earth. In the Black Order, exists proofs of it. For example, it is proved with documents the participation of the hierarchy in the foundation of the Masonry, of the Rosicrucian Order, of the Theosophical Order, etc. Without going further, we have the copy of the letter that the Supreme Priest of Shambhala, Regent Jarpo, sent to Lenin, Theodor Nicholas Roderick, congratulating him for the success of the Bolshevik Revolution. Behind the Lenin and conspirators of October, acted the Transhimalaya Lodge, founded by the White Fraternity. Yes, Comrade Tarstein. Behind the Synarchy is Shambhala, the masters and the priests of the occult hierarchy, or White Fraternity of Shambhala. Right, Kurt. And now complete the concept, please. What is Shambhala? A physical place in the earth, or an extraterrestrial construction? As you know well, Shambhala is an extraterrestrial construction, extended between the earth and the sun, over dimensions of the space that turn it invisible for the common man. I replied, a little amazed for so obvious questions. Their constructors were the traitor gods, the founders of the White Fraternity, and the initiates of the hierarchy, learn a science called Kalakikra, which allow them to open the gates of Shambhala, gates that are found everywhere. Perfect answer, Kurt. Now you'll understand which is your mission. You, Kurt, are the key that can close those doors. In regard to the truth, Kurt, the key that closes those damn doors, it's the sign of the origin, the sign that has the power to remember to the traitor gods their primordial betrayal, the sign that can communicate the symbol of the origin, and face them to the absolute truth of the spirit, the symbol of the origin that can dissolve the absolute lie of the material creation to those who sustain it. By this power to reveal the absolute truth, those who sustain the absolute lie has resolved to not face, ever, the sign of the origin, that is to say, while the lie of the material universe persists. And for this reason, the sign of the origin is the key of the gates of Shambhala, a key that closes with its impassable seal, the root of the demons. And you, Kurt, manifest the sign of the origin as nobody, even though you are not capable to warn it by yourself. But that doesn't affect strategically your mission. Its mere presence is enough to close the damn doors. The demons are not disposed to contemplate the sign that you are capable to project. Of course, they would kill you at approaching to the door, if it is not because you, now, are beyond the death. Do you understand me, Kurt? If you place yourself in front of the door of Shambhala, and remain out from the scope of the demons, practicing the path of the strategic opposition that independizes you from time and space, the door shall be relentlessly closed. Now I was understating something. With my mere presence, I would cause the closure of one of such doors which guided to the damned city, abode of the demons of the wide fraternity. But I not comprehended the objective of the mission. Of what door was talking Conrad Tarstein? A moment later, the explanation of Tarstein would fill me with stupor. Now that I spoke of his faculty to be key sign, I'll go directly to the details of the mission, to what the Black Order, the Third Reich, and the Führer expect from you. Do you remember the Professor Ernst Schaefer? He asked with irony, but he didn't give me time to respond. Yes, I think you have not forgotten him. Not after the incident that he started last year, offering him as a volunteer for the Operational Tweston, and of which I'm aware in all its details. You couldn't know it, then, but your participation in that operation is the last thing that Ernst Schaefer would accept. You'll verify it, as you have in mind the faculty that you possess, to close the gates of Shambhala, and you have the answer to that question. Do you know in what consists the Operational Tweston? Comrade Tarstein, Ernst Schaefer, has already left to the Tibet 1 year ago. I guess that you'll know that, in the expedition was a good friend of mine, Eskard Fleming, who supplied me all the information that I had, I said, warned in the act that it was not convenient to lie to the well-informed Tarstein. I am sorry if I broke some law, because I know that the operation is top secret, but I won't deny you that my distrust for Schaefer can't be major. Even if my deputy Rudolf Hess confirmed that some suspicions existed about him, and he suggested me that, in despite of all this, I'd form part of the expedition. But, unfortunately that has not occurred. I ignore it for good or for bad, and it has none arrangement, due to the time that they have in Asia. Anyhow, I'd wish to assume all the responsibility for any foul that Eskard Phil could have committed at mentioning me the Operational Tweston, because just my curiosity, and the doubts that I have with respect to the behavior of Schaefer, are guilty of their confidences. Take it easy, Kurt, that no one is accusing you of espionage. Just answer me. What do you know about the Operational Tweston? Well, almost anything, Comrade Tarstein. I'm just conscious of the path traveled by the expedition until now, thanks to the secret letters that Eskar has achieved to send me from different points of Asia. The last one was sent 3 months ago, in Lhasa, in the Tibet, with a messenger who brought it to Germany through one of our consulates in India. On it, he informed that they were going to leave towards the northeast, guided by the 2 mysterious lamas of the Kirkramut Bonnet, who carried safe conduct of the Dalai Lama. That is all what I know. The final destination I didn't reach to know it, because neither Eskar knows, but it is evident that it treats about an exploration to the west, as its name indicates, but towards a site located directly in the opposed direction. It seems that Schaefer doesn't trust completely on him, and he has even isolated him from the rest of the officers. is what I wanted to hear, Kurt. I'll tell you where is going Ernst Schaefer. Towards the door of Shambhala. He is going to request to the king of the world, in the name of some pretended healthy forces of Germany, his intervention to put end to the Third Reich. Betrayal! I screamed. Ha, ha, he laughed with nervousness before my exclamation. You'd be surprised to know the magnitude, the multiplicity, and the scopes of the betrayals that corrode the Third Reich, and conspire against the conduction of the Führer. But, is natural that it occurs in that way, because the struggle that the National Socialism declares to the potencies of the matter is total. Every man is submitted to the essential tension between the spirit and the matter, and many will be those who will yield before the illusion of matter, before the Judaic form of the illusion of the matter, it means, the money, the peace, the democracy, the liberty, etc. Just the spiritual men will be capable to overcome this illusion. They will overcome it, just with the strength of their graceful will, with the act of their honor, with the courage of their pure blood. The one of the Ernst Schaefer is just another of such betrayals. Just that, it does affect us too much for being an esoteric fact, of a circumstance that we can comprehend in an eminent manner. Yes, Kurt. The betrayal of Schaefer is enormous, but is not the major of the betrayals that the Führer must face. However, you do well to take it serious, because from you depends that his disloyal, triumph or fail. How could I intervene, and influence in the plans of Schaefer, from Berlin? I asked bewildered. Because it won't be from Berlin whence you will act, Kurt, but from Asia. You'll go immediately to India. Tomorrow you will present yourself to the SD and will receive orders of the SS Oberfuhrer Papp. He will show you how it is possible to reach the expedition of Schaefer before he arrives to the Kunlun Mountains. But now, I will anticipate you something that, I don't doubt, will motivate you profoundly. Overall, I'll tell you that, the Black Order has, since the beginning, excellent spies in the group of Ernst Schaefer. Is for their informs, that we have known the incident, with the professor and of your friendship with Eskert Fleming. Well, is from this last one, that I wanted to talk you. Take it with calm, Kurt, but the truth is that, Eskert Phil, runs mortal risk. Certainly, Schaefer has never trusted in him. If he has permitted him to integrate the operation is because he plans to eliminate him in Asia. Only if you arrive on time, could, perhaps, save him. But why to Asia? If he distrusted from Esker, why he didn't kill him in Germany? I screamed desperately. Oh, Kurt! I lament to give you these news. Hold on strong, because what you are going to hear is incredible. Your comrade has been chosen to be sacrificed. Yes. Don't look me in that way. It is confirmed. Although, it is still possible to avoid it. The case is that, in his way towards the Leibkirchen, beyond the Blue River, Schaefer will cross the gateway to Shambhala, the last gate before the door of Shambhala. And such gate is under custody since millenniums ago, by a tribe of cruel guardians, who are guided by the malign lamas of the Kirkwood bonnet, members of the White Fraternity. In the Tibet, the real religious authority is not exerted by the Dalai Lama, but the instructor of the highest hierarchy in the sect Gelugpa. A Rinpoche, it means a beautiful Lama. To the Gelugpa, or Lamas of the Yellow Bonnet, are subjected all the other Lamist groups, including the Jafranpa. Just the Bodhisattvas, the Mahatmas, the Immortals, are above them. The Gelugpa protect the Lamas of the Kirkwood bonnet, and for this reason, Schaefer disposes of safe conducts of the Dalai Lama. However, such permissions have a relative value, due to, even though the religious power of the Dalai Lama includes the whole Tibet, his politic power is limited by the Chinese frontiers, and the door of Shambhala is located today, in the territory of China. The Lamas of the Kirkwood bonnet are expert in the science of the Kalachakra, or Wheel of Time, the wisdom that permits to comprehend and dominate the karmic connections, RTE enable, and synchronize the wheel of life, BHAVACHAKRA, Osripakohola, with the rhythm of the plans of the wide fraternity. Therefore, they are fervent worshippers of the lords of karma, and their chief, Rinjipo, the lord of Shambhala, the king of the world, Jehovah Satan. They demand to every pilgrim lama, to request the authorization to cross the door of Shambhala, the Yajnavirya, that is, a human sacrifice. As you will understand, Ernst Schaefer didn't give any motive to be exempted of such obligation. In sum, Kurt Eskadfil was selected by Ernst Schaefer to be offered to the lamas of the Kirkramut Bonnet. They will offer his life to Rinjipo through the ritual beheading Yasaya. Out after this conversation with Konrad Tarstein, while I was traveling to Rhineland to retire my belongings from Welsburg, I looked at me in the mirror of the train, and I still had the eyes bloodshot. During the reunion, when Tarstein revealed me the death at Esker was waiting, I would have destroyed Ernst Schaefer with my hands if I could have reached him in that moment. Konrad Tarstein was in charge to warn me that such was not the behavior that the Black Order was expecting from me. On the contrary, my orders consisted to localize the expedition of Schaefer as soon as possible, and join them without violence. For it, I'd go provided with the correspondent official authorizations, a secret decree of the Führer, and a pass of the rich Führer Himmelreich. Moreover, 2 secret agents of the SS would accompany me. It was about 2 SS Führer, who associated the paradoxical virtues to possess both a doctorate in laws, and to have exerted for 5 years in the Gestapo, where they became expert assassins. According to Tarstein, the best strategy demanded that I incorporate the expedition and manifest there the sign of the origin. Such demonstration would be enough to make fail the operational Twesten. And that would be achieved without effectuating any esoteric maneuver, without employing any magical technique. Just my presence would be enough to obey the demons. The closure of the door of Shambhala